Hola amigos, Yosoywillp, and today I want to talk about the 11 things that you need to know before making the move to Mexico City. Now, I was inspired to make this video by Dan from New Travel, who made the 10 things you need to know before moving to Mexico. And so I wanted to take it one step further, put my little spin on it, emphasize Mexico City, and see what I could come up with. So here we go with the 11 points as the things that you need to know before making the move to La Ciudad de Mexico. Number one, cost of living. It is significantly cheaper to live here in Mexico than it is in the United States. I eat daily lunch tacos for 50 cents a piece. I can go to a movie in the cinema for about $4 a ticket. It is incredibly cheap to live here in Mexico City in comparison to any major US city in the United States. Now, to the flip side of that, if you start hanging out with certain types of people, start going to certain clubs, certain five-star restaurants, you can start to spend a lot more money as if you were in the United States. But generally speaking, if you're not trying to live incredibly lavishly, your money will go incredibly far here. Part of that reason is because the minimum daily wage here in Mexico is between $4 and $5 per day, 90 to 100 pesos per day. And so for those people to be able to live on that amount of money is incredibly difficult. Even with how cheap things are here for us, living on $5 a day, that does not go very far. So Mexico City, trying to accommodate all of these various levels of incomes from the very poor to all the way up to the very rich, it really settles down on a great level for a cost of living, especially for an expat or an American coming to move down here for the first time. Number two, safety. American culture and politics like to blow up Mexico to be this incredibly dangerous place with killings and murders and drug wars, which obviously are happening, and you can't neglect that those things are going on in this country. However, for the most part, you will never ever see any part of the mafia, of the drug wars, of any of that stuff going on. As long as you are not selling drugs, you're pretty much gonna be okay. Now, of course, you have to use your best judgment. Don't be running around drunk, blacked out at 3, 4 in the morning in neighborhoods that you don't know. But again, if you use your best judgment and you're not an idiot, you should be okay here in Mexico City. Now, in dense places where there's a lot of people, like the subway or metro, or popular tourist areas, just make sure that you take care of your things. Pickpocketing is a thing, particularly in the metro. Again, I have not had any troubles with pickpocketing, with getting abuse or feeling unsafe here with my time in Mexico, but I know that other people have, particularly with the pickpocketing. So make sure you watch your stuff, put it in your backpack, put it in your front pockets, and you should be fine. But again, guys, Mexico is such an incredible place, and you really don't have a lot to worry about. Número tres, Español, or Spanish. Now, hands down, your experience will be significantly better if you can at least speak a minimum amount of Spanish. Negotiating with vendors, getting into clubs, ordering in restaurants, asking for directions. Being able to express yourself in Spanish will make your experience much more rich. You know, you're in Mexico. Americans in particular are spoiled because the country is so massive and we don't need to learn any other languages. But we're here in Mexico. It's their country, it's their culture, and it is almost disrespectful for us to come down here and to expect them to speak English. So at least try to learn the basics, how to say hello, the pleasantries, thank you, please, how to order, just the things to be able to help you get around on a day-to-day basis. Mexicans will appreciate it, they'll appreciate the effort, and they seem to be really patient even when you mess up or don't say something right. Now, as far as their understanding of English, most young people here in Mexico can at least understand what you're saying in English. Most of them are very shy and will say, no hablo español, pero most of them do speak at least a little bit. And from what I found, their English is about the same as my Spanish. They just don't want to put themselves out there. But, you know, to the contrary of that, all of the people that I work with here in Mexico, a lot of my friends, they all like to practice their English with me, which has definitely caused my Spanish not to improve as quickly as I would like. But I'm working on it. The times that I'm able to speak Spanish the most is in Ubers. I don't know why. I feel the most comfortable in an Uber in the back seat. He's in the front seat. They're usually pretty chill and pretty kind, and they want to be nice. Obviously, they get your tip. But that seems to be the best place to ask questions. ¿De dónde eres? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Te gusta Estados Unidos? Soy de Estados Unidos. It's a great opportunity to just get those basic talking points and to master those talking points while in the Uber. So highly suggest doing that. So get out there, learn Spanish, and if you learn Spanish here in Mexico City, your experience will be bigger and better than you ever imagined. 4, traffic. The traffic here in Mexico City is absolutely horrendous. The city isn't more than 20 kilometers from north to south, yet to go 1 or 2 miles during rush hour could take an hour. It's pretty crazy. And so here in Mexico City, everyone says that you need to live where you work. Because I know some people who don't live where they work and they have 2-3 hour commutes in the morning and in the evening. And so number one suggestion, live where you work, and life will be absolutely great for you. I used to live in the south of the city, well, relatively south, near Coyoacán, and even then, it's only like 3 to 5 kilometers, I think, from here in Escandon, but it would take an hour every day, and that's just an hour a day I didn't want to waste. So now that I'm living up here in Escandon, near Nápoles, near Condesa, near Roma, I have meetings in all these places and I can walk there and I never even have to deal with the traffic. And so it's absolutely amazing. Other ways to avoid the traffic besides living where you work, you have Ubers here, which are super convenient actually if you need to get around. They're about half the price as they are in the United States. An hour trip can cost 50 pesos sometimes, up to 150 pesos, so about $5 to $15 max. I don't think I've ever paid more than $15 in an Uber here in Mexico. But they also have the scooters, they have Lime, they have Green, they have all the scooters that you can go and rent and get around. Sometimes those are faster. And I just invested in EcoBC, which is bike rentals run by the city, and it's super smooth. They've got hundreds of stations. Located throughout the city, and I don't know if I'm ever going to ride public transportation ever again because it is just so convenient to go and rent the bike, get going, and drop it off where you need to go. And that was like $30 per year. So absolutely worth it. And of course you have public transportation. I'm not a big fan of the subway or the metro. It's just too many people, it's hot, you're sweating, it stinks. I mean, it's convenient and it gets you from place to place like you need to, but it's just not something that I want to deal with really ever. But the Metro bus, I absolutely love the Metro bus. If I'm going to take public transportation, I'm going to take the Metro bus. It seems to go almost near all of the big places here in the city that you need to go, and it's way more comfortable. It's only 6 pesos per trip, and super convenient. So if you're gonna do public transportation, I suggest to do the Metro bus. But other than that, traffic is awful. Try to avoid it at all times. I try to avoid the road or Ubers between the times of 8 to 10 p.m. and the times of 5 to really 8 p.m. But again, if you're living where you're working and you're living where you want to spend your time, you can really avoid that and it's not a problem. But living in this massive city, you really don't need a car at all. Like I said, with the forms of transportations that I mentioned before, Uber, the biking, the public transportation, like I think that it'd be more of a hassle to have a car here in Mexico City than it is not to have one. So there you have it. That's the traffic. And I'm getting stressed out just talking about it. So let's move on to the next point. Point 5, where to live or stay in Mexico City. Now, there's tons of good places you can stay, tons of good neighborhoods. I'm here in Escandon, which isn't one of the top neighborhoods actually to stay in, but it's between a lot of the top neighborhoods. But neighborhoods you want to stay in would be Polanco, which is kind of the ritzy, swaggy, Hollywood type area here in Mexico City. It's more expensive than everywhere else, so just be ready for that, but it is also nicer than everywhere else. But that's Polanco. You have Condesa, which is right here, really close to us, which is a really popular place for expats and Americans and young entrepreneurs. There's cafes and bars everywhere. Same thing with Roma. It's very similar to Condesa. Beautiful areas, beautiful parks, a lot of awesome restaurants and bars. It's kind of the hip part of Mexico City right now. I'm in Escandon. You have Nápoles, which is south of here. You can live in Coyoacán, which is further south. San Angel area. I mean, all of them are good areas. I mean, just do your research as to where you're not supposed to live and don't live there. But again, as I said previously, you want to live where you work. You want to stay by whatever you have going on in your life. You want to be living or staying in the hotel next to that area. So that is my number one suggestion. For me, I moved in with my roommate, a beautiful young and upcoming actress named Cynthia, and I found her on a website called roomster.com. You also have, you have roomster.com, you have Dada Room, you have groups on Facebook, all of which provide the opportunity to find roommates and find apartments. So I'll link those places in the description, but I was freaking out when I was looking for an apartment a couple months ago. Couldn't find anything. Unfortunately, I got into the website roomster.com, and Cynthia's actually former roommate, Betty, what up Betty, made the ad, and we got connected, and it was super convenient. Cynthia's awesome. I have a great deal on this two-bedroom apartment, and it's been fantastic. So live by where you work. That is my suggestion. Number 6, warm Mexican people. Mexican people might be the greatest people on the planet. They're so kind, they're so welcoming, they're so loving, they want to make you feel comfortable, they want to speak with you, they tend to wear their emotions on their sleeve, and they're just incredible people. Again, coming from the US, I had this stereotype because I didn't know very many Mexicans at all. I didn't have this stereotype of them being so warm and so kind. You know, I knew obviously that they were hardworking people. I had heard that family was very important to them, but I had no idea to the extent of the love and the importance of family that they have until I actually came here in Mexico. Family is everything. The relationships that you have are everything, and spending time with the people that matter most in your life is everything for people here in Mexico, which I think is so cool. Mexican people, I think, do a better job than Americans in regards to living in the moment, being completely present, being with the people around you, dancing, singing, enjoying the time, drinking. Mexican people are just full of life. They're so colorful. The way that Mexico City is set up, it's so colorful. The architecture is amazing. It's just so bright and vibrant. The way that the city looks, it really describes the people here in Mexico. They're so vibrant, they're so colorful, and they're so kind. And I absolutely love being here, and I love meeting people here. One bad side about Mexican people, and I think it's more of a thing of Mexico City, is just that they tend to be late. I don't think I've had one business meeting or one date start on time since I've been here. Now, part of that I think is the culture, part of that I think is just the traffic and that it's so difficult to get place to place in Mexico City. But the one bad thing, the one downside about the culture here that I've noticed is that people tend to be late to everything. So just keep that in mind when you have something scheduled. But if that's the worst thing that I can say about the Mexican people, I think that they are pretty incredible, right? So, as I said, Mexican people are super passionate, loving, intense, and yeah, you gotta come down here to experience it for yourself. Siete, la comida, food. I can't even describe to you guys how incredible the food here is in Mexico City. Now, it is nothing like the Mexican food that you see in the United States. The Taco Bells, the Taco Johns, it's nothing like that shit. And I will never probably eat that shit again after living here in Mexico City. Here you've got chilaquiles for breakfast, tacos pastor, pozole, which is incredible, gorditas, tacos of every kind. I eat tacos every single day for lunch. They're 10 pesos a piece, 50 cents, and they are to die for. Suadero, pastor, Campechano. The food here is absolutely to die for, and not only Mexican food, but you've got so many incredible little restaurants located in Condesa, in Reforma, in Roma. You know, you can really eat anything that you want here. Sushi, Asian, burgers, Argentinian. I mean, really, it's a massive city, just like New York, so you can really find anything that you want. But the Mexican food is to die for, and I encourage you guys that you have to go for the street food. Now, when I moved to Mexico City, there was a period of 2 weeks where I got sick back-to-back weekends. One of which was from eating some fruit in a bus station, which apparently is an absolute no-go. But the other one was actually from eating some undercooked tacos on the street in the south of the city. Now, when I got sick, I could not get off my ass. I was running to the bathroom, throwing up. I literally couldn't stand up. It was miserable. I lost 15 pounds in 1 month. But since those 2 times, I feel like my stomach has adapted to the food here, and I can eat anything now, like literally anything. And so I eat street food almost every single day, and it is absolutely incredible. It's absolutely cheap, and you have to try it for yourself. Go get yourself some street tacos, and tacos in the United States will never be the same. I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. Number 8, water. And as Dan from the New Travel says, just don't drink it. There's no reason to risk drinking unclean water. You know, the water here in Mexico City, from what I understand, is improving and has gotten significantly better over the past couple years. But I have not received word that it is safe to drink yet, so not even going to come close to it. I do brush my teeth in it, I shower in it obviously with no problems, but there's just no sense in going and drinking tap water. Now, you can access big jugs of water at any OXXO, at any 7-Eleven, pretty much on any corner. So buy the big jugs, bring it to your apartment or your Airbnb, and just get yourself covered. But just don't play with that. There's no sense in risking getting sick by drinking the water. Enough said. Number 9, the incredible sights of Mexico City. You have the Zocalo, the center of the city of Mexico City, the center of the ancient Aztec culture. You have the pyramids, Teotihuacan, that are 45 minutes away, Castillo de Chapultepec and Chapultepec Park, Coyoacán, Frida Kahlo House, Palacio de Bellas Artes. There's unlimited things to do in the city, and I haven't even scratched the surface as far as the tourist things that you can do to absorb and see the culture here in Mexico City. But I do encourage you that once you move here, that it's really easy to get settled in and say, oh, I'll go see Castillo de Chapultepec next week, or I'll go to the pyramids next week. No, go and do them now, because these are memorable places that you will never forget for the rest of your life, and they really help paint the picture for Mexican culture and how amazing the history of this country is. So, go see all the tourist sites as quickly and as soon as you can upon arriving here in Mexico. Number 10, tequila and mezcal. Get ready to drink them. Now, obviously everyone pretty much knows what tequila is. I love tequila. It's actually become my favorite drink after being here in Mexico. But mezcal is the #1 competitor here in Mexico to tequila. Now, it's got a little bit more of a moonshine feel to it. I think it's made from the same plant. It's just fermented and created in a different manner than the tequila is, and it gives it a more strong gas-like taste that some Mexicans love it. When I'm getting a haircut, they feed me mezcal and it's great. I'm a fan, but tequila is better. And so when you're moving to Mexico or when you come in Mexico, just prepared to be able to try some tequila, and you have to try mezcal because it's not as popular for us outsiders, but it is a staple of the culture here in Mexico, and you would not be doing yourself justice to not try some mezcal with the orange peel and the spices to make it just absolutely incredible. So tequila, mezcal, be ready to go when you come to Mexico. At number 11, where to work out here in Mexico City. I love training, I love fitness, I love working out, so I thought I would add this point. I've recently discovered that almost every park here in Mexico City has its own little outside gym with pull-up bars, with dip bars, with crazy ellipticals that you can use. It's got like really all the basics that you need so that you don't even need a gym. So if you like training outside, being in the sun, soaking up the weather and sweating outside, I would just run to a park, bust out a workout, and run back, and that's really all you need. I'm gonna try to do that about once a week now because it's too late. I already got an annual subscription at SmartFit, which SmartFit is located all across the country. It's kind of the discount gym brand here in Mexico. I think it's about $30 a month, but it's super convenient. They've got SmartFits literally all over the city that I can choose to go from, and they are super packed. You've got the Godines hour from about 6 to 8 p.m. and 7 to 9 a.m. in the morning, which I got to avoid completely. Godines, which is like just an office guy who works a typical 9 to 5. It's kind of a derogatory term that my friends keep talking about. The Godines, the fucking Godines. But yeah, the gym's cool. Other nice ones, Sport City is supposed to be an upgrade. Sport World is supposed to be an upgrade. They're more expensive, but I think they're a little bit more exclusive. Some of them have pools, but there's a large variety of gyms here. My next venture is to go find a boxing gym because boxing is like the second or third sport here in Mexico, and I'm trying to go get some work in, man. Boxing's like my favorite workout. I don't like to get hit. I can't mess up this face, but so you've got a large number of parks that you can work out at that are located all throughout the city. You've got any type of gym that you want, and as I said, the last one I'm going for is the boxing, and that I'll give you guys an update on that later. So that is it. Those are the 11 things that you need to know before making the move to Mexico City. So there you have it. Those are the 11 things that Those are the 11 things that you need to know before making the move to Mexico City. I hope this video provided value for you, and if it did, please make sure to hit like, and please make sure to follow me. Your support means the world to me, and I'm trying to grow here in Mexico City. I'm trying to make more friends and learn more about the culture. So if you want to be a part of the movement, please, please, please follow me, reach out, and let's grow this thing together. Pero Yosoywillp. Nos vemos pronto, amigos. Peace.